my channel, The Sun, where we're always working towards something greater. So I'm welcoming in everybody today. I'm doing a video because I wanted to do a video quickly about kind of what you can do in your practice for supplies. Like different kinds of budgeting options and everything that you can do. So I thought we would start with pretty much things from the dollar store and repurpose things to kind of kick this off. So we're going to go through dollar store stuff. We're going to go through just purely bought things, and then we're going to also discuss things that were maybe from like secondhand, kind of things like that. So I thought we would quickly start with the cheapest of the cheap kind of things that you can do. So that would be basically when you already have a bottle or jar, something like this. Maybe it's just a wine bottle, or maybe you have some kind of like a little jar from like a little pudding or whatever it is, a little thing of mustard. You can clean off that date and everything from it, but basically that's the easiest thing you can do, is just repurpose things that you already have in your kitchen and bottles and things of that sort, so that you can repurpose them for the use of your practice. The next stuff that we have on this table is going to be stuff from the dollar store. So you have things like this where it's a pretty bottle. Oh, I know that a lot of the dollar stores are going to the dollar plus kinds of things, so there's going to be a bit more of things that are a bit more pricey there, but they do still have stuff for $1.25 now, so it's still fairly cheap where you can get those things. Like this chalice that I have here was from the dollar store. We have this little Buddha figure from the dollar store. I have this little mirror from the dollar store. And then we have this picture that I really love from the dollar store that says, "Live by the light of the moon." And it's really neat. Things like this are a little bit more difficult at times to find, just because they are kind of limited on this kind of supplies of things. You can't always find them, like things like this, like they're not always at the dollar store. You kind of just have to grab it when you see it, and just kind of keep your eye out every time you go to the dollar store, and keep going pretty continuously to kind of find these things that fit into your style. They have had those mirrors a couple of times, so they do have things that reappear at times. This candle snuffer was from the dollar store. And this mirror is like my scrying mirror, but it is actually just a picture frame that was neat, that I actually just took the glass and I spray painted it black on the back, and then I put the glossy side out of the glass, so the spray paint is on the cardboard, and it works pretty well for a scrying mirror. I don't do a whole lot of scrying, so that works pretty decently for me. The dollar store also recently, just the other day, I bought these. But these are some more photo frames of like moon type images that are just really nice. And again, those things just kind of rarely show up sometimes, so just kind of got to keep your eye out for those. The dollar store also does have like these glass bottles to put things in. These cute little mason jars or similar bottles to that. Also over here they have some candles. These do take forever to burn, so if you are concerned about that, that might not be the best option. But if you're just going to use them as maybe like a working candle for like dripping some wax, or you don't mind, it's going to be like a couple days worth of a spell that you keep snuffing it out and restarting it, that could work for that. Also these, I believe, came from the dollar store. I really don't remember where they came from. I feel like I've had them for years, but they usually have some tea light candles there, and many other kinds of candles and incense and all kinds of things that you can use from that store and stuff for your practice too. They also have salts that you can use in your practice and things like that. So there's so many options that you can do from the dollar store, and they really do have a lot of options that you can craft things with and DIY to work for your practice and stuff too. So that's always an option. Here's just a black bowl that I have. You know, typically any bowls and stuff are good for, you know, money bowls. You could use this. I usually bought this for a scrying bowl, so putting water in it and looking into it. Again, I haven't done a whole lot of scrying, so it mostly kind of just sits in my cabinet, just kind of with bits and bobs of other things. So it's useful for storage too, I guess, if you would like to use it for that. So that's pretty much it on the dollar store. Let's go ahead and move into my next items. Okay, so the next items that we're going to talk about are going to be the Goodwill items. So, well, we're going to say Goodwill slash things that were repurposed and rebought. So I've kind of separated these things because some of the things are still technically repurposed things that I bought from somebody else secondhand. However, they were stuff that I found from other sources other than just a thrift store or eBay. So you can really find some good stuff, but I'm kind of in an area where there's not a lot of thrift stores. There's not a whole lot of great selection. So I do have some trouble at times finding things that are, you know, really nice that are in the thrift store. And you might have that problem too if you are in a kind of a small area. So over here, from here over, so this piece over, we've got the Goodwill stuff. So this is just a bowl that you can see I use for drying out herbs. Again, it can be used for like a money bowl. This is a little like candle holder here I got from Goodwill for just a couple of dollars. Again, here's another little plate that's like a little leaf that's just kind of pretty, and it can just be used for different things. You could put candle on there, you could just snuff your smudge sticks out on it, you could light incense on it. There's multiple things that you could do with a little dish like that. This is one of my favorite finds from Goodwill, is this piece right here. And I've lately been really loving using it for spell work. So I will put my spell in this part in the middle, and then I'll have candles around it to just kind of light and put the energy out. And I really, really love it because I really like using metal in my craft because metal is a conductor of electricity. So when I have something metal in my practice, I really kind of like feeling like that is a conductor to the universe as well. That even though my items may be in here, if I just touch the metal and put my intention into it, I can just imagine that the energy is going to it through the metal like a conductor. So that's something that I really do like about this. It's just been a great thing that I like using in my practice for spell work. And right now I just have a candle in the middle of it, so you can just use it for decoration as well. These three items over here are the ones that are technically repurposed, rebought from other people, secondhand items, but they are stuff that I purchased off of eBay, so they were a bit more expensive of items. The things from Goodwill usually are just a couple of dollars, you know, like $2, $3, $5, usually at most. Some items are a little bit more, but the things that I get off of eBay that are these kinds of things, they do range up a little bit higher. Like I think this was $10, but it's a bell that I use for cleansing energy and cleansing things. I have a little cute cauldron here that was a secondhand cast iron, little tiny one. And then I have this larger copper cast iron one, or this larger copper one with some like cast iron on it. And it was secondhand, bought pre-owned from people, but it was a bit more expensive. Usually when you buy things off of eBay and things like that, even secondhand, they do range a bit higher because you know, the people trying to get the profit out of it and the shipping and everything to have heavier items and bigger items sent to you. So there is those options as well for secondhand. And let's lastly go ahead and move into things that are just plain out bought from places. And last but not least, we have all the things that I have just purchased and that you can purchase just on your own through stores that you go to, or things that you find online, things that you just think of in particular that you wanted for your practice that you don't have and you don't really want to try and wait to find it somewhere for cheaper or whatever the case might be. Pretty much everything on this table, I can say probably the highest price for things is about maybe $30. And I think that that was probably this mortar and pestle here that cost that much money. But everything else I think was probably around the $20 mark, maybe 23 to 25. So things in this range do obviously get a bit more expensive. If you're on a budget, that makes it a little bit more difficult, but you can always find these things if you're willing to wait sometimes from other places or for really good prices. But you know how it is a lot of the time, sometimes we just see things that we're like, oh man, that looks so pretty and I will probably not find that somewhere else, so I've got to buy it like right now. So that's where these things came from. And we have like this nice detailed box that's wooden. I like to put things in here. Like right now I've got a bunch of just little baggies and stuff that you would use for maybe like a spell bag and things. But sometimes I put things in there that are going to be workings that I just haven't put into motion yet. I have this little bucket over here that was from Walmart. I think it was like $1 to $3 for this, but as you can tell, I use it to put all my incense and Palo Santo and sage in, just to snuff it out. I will say, I know some people get upset about the use of sage and things. I, don't totally like the overuse of it and everything, but I can say that these sticks that I've had, oh my goodness, I don't do it all that often. I do sometimes use smudge sticks and stuff, but I've had those for probably a couple years now, I feel like, and they last me a very long time. I still have so much to go before this runs out. And I honestly kind of sometimes don't like using sage just because I like to use other things that I don't feel like completely sometimes entirely cleanses energy. I like to use things like dragon's blood incense and stuff that I just have the intention to get the negative, unwanted, ill will kind of energies out of it. So this thing here is a nice little candle holder. I don't remember how much this cost. It was years ago that I got it. I just recently got this crystal ball, and that was actually from a gift from my boyfriend for Christmas. And it was an idea that I sent to him though, so it was I think about $20 some. I don't think it's real, like authentic quartz or anything, but that's okay with me. The real authentic quartz were quite a bit more money, so I'm fine with just kind of the glass ball, but I am thinking about getting an obsidian one too. So anyways, then we have, like I said, the mortar and pestle over there. I have those little scissors I do often need in my practice. This is a little incense burner. It has holes in the bottom where you can turn it up this way, or you can put it just in the bottom with a little dupe cone like I like to do. This singing bowl my sister got me as a present last Christmas, I think, and it was, I think, also around the $20 mark. And I do like playing that bowl sometimes. It's just kind of fun to ring it, and I also use it for cleansing things sometimes. I kind of like to use multiple methods for cleansing. That I'll sometimes use smoke and I'll use sound with like bells or this or multiple things at times. So then we've got this tiny little cauldron here. Don't remember how much that one was. And then like this I bought just recently from Ross, and it was like $23. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much going over all of the things that you can buy just, out and about. Again, there are other options for cheaper things. You can strictly and solely choose to only buy things from the dollar store. It's really, if you can tell, a lot of this stuff kind of changes the aesthetic a lot. When you started out with the dollar store stuff, there maybe was a couple things to fit the aesthetic that you're looking for, but they don't totally always have the kind of aesthetic of things that you want in your craft and your practice. So usually you pay a little bit more for those things because you're not probably going to find a crystal ball or something or a singing bowl at the dollar store. Those things you do usually have to pay a little bit more for, but things like the mortar and pestle, you could easily just get a bowl, and like a metal bowl, and a rock or something, and crush things in it. Just something that has some substance to it to crush things. You know, you could do that. You don't have to have a fancy mortar and pestle. You don't have to have any of the fancier things if you don't want to do that. If you don't want to have certain things that you don't feel like you're going to find in the dollar store or the thrift store. But if you feel like you want those things, then you definitely can find them other places for not a whole lot more. I try and be kind of a conscious shopper to be careful of the things that I buy and make sure that I'm not spending a whole lot of money. $30 is usually my price point where I really start to feel like it starts to get expensive after $30, and I don't know how much I want to spend. $20 and $30 even seems a bit much at times. So, you know, these things you don't have to buy all at once anyway. You can just kind of work them out over a period of time. And I'm sorry if my kitty blanket was a little distracting. I just recently got this at the dollar store too. It was $5 for this because of the dollar plus thing, but it's not very witchy, but it is very cute. And I didn't feel like getting my other cloth out, so you just got distracted with some cute unicorn kitties today. So I hope that this video was helpful, guys, and I hope that this gave you some ideas on what kind of price points you can go for in certain places and what kind of things you can find there. I definitely enjoy the Goodwill aesthetic of things too, because you can really find some aged stuff there that looks really neat. And I know a lot of people have made things work from just thrift store finds. So whatever works for you, but I hope you guys have a great rest